Helps if I unmute my mic, doesn't it? Everybody, thanks for joining.
Hi, everybody.
The fourth live stream that I've done.
Hello, everyone.
We got Ryan here, Spookfest. We got Michael, Untold Mysteries, sorry. And your host, me. Matt is currently missing in action, but whenever he's available, I'm sure he'll join us on here. It won't be a big deal. But today we are going to, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're just going to talk about whatever comes to our mind, but we're going to have drinks while we do. I haven't mixed mine yet. So, what are you guys drinking?
I got beer.
Well, mine's hard lemonade, so no one could steal it.
Well, I'm going to mix some Everclear.
You got the strong shit.
Oh, yeah. It is in my pre-frosted cup that's kind of thawed out. Right there with the Everclear.
I didn't want anything to knock me on my ass when questions came around, so I was good.
Yeah.
There is ice in here. Yeah, I got 2 cubes of ice, so it's not all liquid. Let's see here, I'm going to add some orange soda.
That's a good mix.
Very good mix.
I love orange soda. I haven't had Everclear in a long time.
Well, I'm going to add a twist to it. I'm going to put some vanilla extract in it.
Oh. Dude, you're making like
that I found out was pretty good.
It'll taste exactly like a dreamsicle, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a good idea.
Pretty good. I tried this before.
Let's see if I can make this.
One drink that's good if you don't have anything else is
that's a little better.
vodka and Gatorade. The fruit punch Gatorade. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Gatorade is always good to have around, along with plenty of water. So this is my secret to not getting hungover. Plenty of water.
Yeah. I'll drink a bunch of water after I have a couple of beers.
Absolutely.
No hangover.
Julie J says an alcohol live stream. Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're all having beers. Michael, me, and James.
Yes.
Well,
and yes, I am old enough to drink. I might not look it, but I am.
The gray kind of ruins it on mine.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I'm starting to get a little bit like scruff every now and then, but not enough to show.
It shows your wisdom.
Yep.
Well, it started in my 20s, actually, my late 20s.
Yeah, by the time I hit 30, I started getting some. Mine's not too bad.
Sneaks up on you, and then these bags under the eyes, they're coming out thick too.
Yeah, especially as a new baby, I'm awake at 3 a.m, 4 a.m. sometimes.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Changing diapers.
Oh yeah.
So what do you guys up to? You heard all this new crazy news out there?
Oh, which news?
Whichever you would like. So dire wolves, the UFO by the military filmed over in California, the new Egyptian shit.
I heard about the new Egyptian stuff.
I haven't actually picked up on that. I heard about the wolf. Tell us about the. It's under the pyramid, correct?
Yeah, so they found something else too. It's not just that the tunnels underneath with the coils going around them. Now they're thinking that there's actually like a small city under there, like 4,000 feet deep. Who knows what's under there really? But they're doing a different type of scanning anyway. It's kind of like LiDAR, but it's satellite geomagnetic radar or something. I forget what they called it, but
wow,
they're finding a lot of stuff under there.
I wonder what's actually going on. I mean, is there anybody going to like investigate and dig or anything like that? Is there any plans for that? Do you know?
So far, that that's very difficult because they kind of shut stuff down. They don't let people do stuff. But they're thinking now that some of these radars have come out underneath the Sphinx. There's supposed to be an old library, maybe the Library of Alexandria.
That would be awesome.
You know how we found the Dead Sea Scrolls? I'm
Yeah,
guaranteeing there's more of that type of information underneath there. It's just they keep finding rooms and different secret passages. They found a secret tomb that held more stuff of King Tut's or Tutankhamun. So that's a whole new one. I don't think that's under the pyramids. I think that's off somewhere else. But I keep up. I try and get information each week on everything that's been found and looking at historical sites and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to catch up on all that. I've been working the last few days. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Maybe I need to put on my tinfoil hat for all this, but honestly, if there's anything in there, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to let us know what's in there.
No, not really.
Nope. You're only going to keep it about like 50-50, and then only half of it's going to be the truth.
Basically, yeah. Information is power, and if we're left in the dark, then who has the power?
They did release some stuff about Greenland ice sheet melting, and they found some metallurgy that's actually older than the Iron Age, so that actually pushes back the Iron Age and stuff. Yeah, they found a pair of skis that's from 1,400 years ago or something. That stuff's pretty cool to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, they.
I can't imagine somebody that far back skiing.
Well, I mean, it's a. You would think it's a simple way of simple mode of transportation. I mean, it's kind of universal.
One of the better ways in the snow, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, and honestly, I believe that we've been on this planet a lot longer than what we know.
Yeah, they believe. So that was one of the things that the Egyptian thing, the stuff they found in the ground was supposed to be 38,000 years old. So 38,000. We all know like Göbekli Tepe is at least 12,000 or so.
Yeah,
and that proves that we had sophisticated technology to be able to build stuff like that.
Right.
So how old are the pyramids really? What if the Egyptians came upon the pyramids and they were already built?
I actually read somewhere that was the case. They said they didn't build it. Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
What's up, Mike?
Michael.
Oh
yeah, hi everybody.
But where was I going with this? Hold on. The buzz. I'm actually starting to feel this already. This is going to get interesting. But now, if there's any proof that we've been on this planet a lot longer, or somebody being on the planet a lot longer, it's going to be under the ground, and it would have to be under something like the pyramids. Because if you look at what happened with the last time the poles flipped, I mean, it causes when the pole flips, the core flips before the rest of the planet because it has inertia on it. And that causes everything to get out of kilter and switch. So around that time, Antarctica may have been lush, green, beautiful land and not the ice that we know today. That. So it would have to be under the ground for any evidence to be. What's that?
Especially
Antarctica is a weird subject.
Hey, that's what we do is weird.
All sorts of myths that, it's like all sorts of myths that Antarctica could be like Atlantis, or Atlantis is hidden inside of Antarctica and stuff like that. It's all very interesting.
Right. I love that theory. One of my favorite theories.
Right?
Me too.
Let's see. Thorn Groves. I saw something that said archaeologists think the Egyptians built the pyramids with ancient high-tech machinery. Well, I think they had better machinery than just sticks and hammers. I mean, they had far better stuff than that.
They had electricity.
I think they did.
At this point, I just say 100% they had electricity.
Had to have. Maybe not the way we use it today, but
right. It'd be
bare
like
minimum.
battery storage.
Right. It would be
I mean,
bare
we know about the
minimum.
Baghdad battery, so Baghdad
Yeah.
battery is a big one.
Used for lighting, at least.
Have you seen they drilled holes perfectly through like long distances? They drilled holes. Never mind giant stuff dug that deep underground. I think it's like 2 kilometers underground. That's a lot.
They had some boring materials. They had stuff that they could bore through materials.
I read somewhere, I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but I was just like looking for research, and I read somewhere that they supposedly found some sort of battery cell like underneath one of the pyramids somewhere.
Yeah. And basically they had mixing pots for different chemicals to mix, and it would react with the limestone. Excuse me. Even the water going over limestone or a crystal like that, crystalline state, the amount of power that goes through it. Just running water over sand will cause static electricity.
Well, it wouldn't be static. It would be...
Right. Because they have the liquid, so it's like a battery.
Yeah. Yeah, static electricity is when you have the electrons or protons building up in one location, like in a capacitor or something like that, or when you're doing laundry and it picks up all the electrons from the dryer itself, or actually has them stripped away. Either way, but that's static is when the electricity is the charge difference is there. It just stays. It doesn't move. That's static.
Right. But they actually had chemicals. I forget what it was, but acidic stuff. And those giant rods going into the ground, I mean, different properties for different things in the rocks can cause electricity. It's they don't depict it too on one of the hieroglyphs. There's 2 light bulbs with like snakes in them, and there's what looks like a capacitor in the middle or a transformer.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Mike says core samples suggest Antarctica had tropical zones at one time.
I believe it.
Yeah, Mike knows the stuff whenever it comes to minerals and rocks and stuff like that, so he would know for sure.
Yeah, he would.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let's see. We got, a grand total of 5 people watching.
High 5, people.
What's up, 5 people?
Sarah
I was
Bowman.
distracted a second ago. I saw like a little shadow going behind my like glasses frames.
Oh no, Michael, you got a ghost in your room already?
You got him to freeze up there.
It's ghost.
They got him. Sorry, it's getting warm in here now. I don't know, maybe Everclear wasn't such a bad idea. Or such a good idea.
A lot of people were saying the new UFO footage isn't really much, but I do believe the military does show sometimes. They got something that looked like the Tic Tac again, or the gimbal footage over by California, and the report said like 4 or 5 UFOs came out of the ocean. So, not that I believe the government all that much, but
I really don't trust much anything they say.
It's interesting because it could be a psyop, or it could be from personally witnessing UFOs before. There's got to be something.
I wonder if it's all these cigar shaped. These things are seen throughout history. I cannot remember the name of the book. There's a book from India that mentions these cigar shaped things in the sky fighting with these round things in the sky.
Yeah. And there's like old art of that too. All over the world, depicted throughout history. So they used to call them, Native Americans would call them silver flying canoes. The flying chariots over in like Greece and Rome, the flying chariots. Some of them called them flying stars with the pilots in them, and they would depict that like in ancient art. Where'd Michael just disappeared?
Yeah, he may be having issues over there. Let's see if I can see him on Discord here. Let's see. You okay, Mike?
Mike, come back.
Where you go, Mike? We got him and Matt missing in action.
Oh,
Let's see.
well, it was working at least with three of us.
Yeah,
Hey, it
We'll
works
see.
good.
I love it. Works great for
Okay.
me.
I'm gonna have to try your drink there, the vanilla with orange soda and some Everclear. Sounds good. It kind
It
of like
was.
moonshine, right? That Everclear 150 proof or something.
Let's see. 190.
Jesus.
95% alcohol by volume. I don't know what the other 5% is, but it tastes good.
Yeah, it's a good drink. You only need one or two of those.
Well, here comes number 2.
Oh boy. Yeah, I gotta grab more beer. But we'll just keep talking. Tell them to come in if they actually can come back.
Right? Yeah, as soon as Matt comes alive, I'm sure he's going to join. He's got a lot going on, so
Yeah.
may or may not get to see him, but hey, we'll be on again.
I have to say the shadow cat story, the way he described he saw a shadow cat, he said it was big. The one me and my family have seen is regular cat size, but we've seen it like 5 or 6 times, and not just me. Me and my wife have seen it at the same time. And I was like, this was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it just seemed like it ran under the bed, but it looked like a blur, like motion blur. And just solid black, kind of wispy on the outside of it, but you could tell it was like a cat. So I thought that was really cool that he described it almost exactly what my mother-in-law has seen it. My wife explained it the same way he did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's told me about that before.
Explained.
And he's seen other things, but I'll let him tell all the stories on that.
Yeah.
But thank you, Julie. Posted the Discord link. It's open. There's not a whole lot going on there, but everybody's welcome to join. It's one of the best ways for people to get a hold of me, to be honest. I check it about 4 times a day, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
Upon whether I'm looking.
I just started mine. I'm not great at this type of stuff with all the like technology and stuff, but it's fun to post the things I'm learning about or new info I find. I'll post it.
Yeah, Julie, if you want to post Ryan's Discord on there, that would be awesome. He's always posting a lot of very interesting stories, a lot of links to documents, articles, videos, just some of the stuff, interesting stuff, off the wall stuff you're not going to find coming on your feed on Facebook unless you're just into that stuff. There it is.
Looking at all the weird.
Right. Thank you, Julie.
So,
there
yes, thank you, Julie. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Right. I always end up calling her Jaya. I always forget her name's Julie, but hi, Jaya.
Well, you have Julie Jaya, and then you have Julie N.
Yes, Julie N. I know too. There's a lot of friends I've made over the years. So far, I've had so much fun doing this. I cannot say how much I appreciate, like, even you just having me on. I have fun talking about this shit.
Hey, honestly, you're cool as all get out, to be honest. To me.
Thanks. You too, man.
I try to be.
Hey, I think we can figure some shit out if we keep pooling resources and talking about this stuff, there is shit we can figure out.
Cool.
You know a lot more about the computer systems, like the more scientific side of some of this shit.
Hey, sorry
Michael
about that,
Bradley.
guys.
What up?
Sorry about
All
that.
right.
The power went out. Yeah, the power went out for a minute.
Oh
You
wow.
did go dark.
You start
Yeah, I was
talking
like-
about that
I was
black
like-
figure, and then your power goes out.
Right.
Yeah,
I see a shadow. Poof.
but it wasn't.
Oh, he froze again. Oh no. Mike
Talk
goes,
about geochronology. I'd never heard of that term.
I have, but remind me because is that to do with ley lines?
No, geochronology. Chronology root word would be cryo, meaning
Yeah,
for
so-
time. So
Yeah,
geochronology, I'm assuming time through
Geographically.
geographic time.
So, like, if a volcano goes off, you can see the bottom of what before the volcano went off and after the volcano went off.
And about when, dating things. Yeah.
What was the big one? Croatoan? Croatoan? Something like that. The
Croatoan,
big
yeah.
one overseas.
I think so.
Roanoke
Yeah.
and Croatoan.
That's like Pompeii, too.
Let's
Say it
see.
again, Michael.
It said Roanoke and Croatoan.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's near me, actually.
We actually had some earthquakes down here in Texas not too long ago, like a 3. I mean, it wasn't very strong. I didn't feel it here that I noticed. But it's a little unusual. We've been getting some earthquakes here. I don't
remember hearing about earthquakes in Texas.
Me neither. That's kind of rare, I
Krakatoa.
think.
That's weird.
Mike O's Discord.
Oh, Mike, go. I got to join your Discord.
Absolutely. Let's see. Hold on a minute. I got to join that.
Yeah, I got to join that. I'll do it after this. But Michael, what's your favorite local legend again? Oh, did Michael freeze?
It looks like you froze up again.
All right.
He's having some issues out there.
I was gonna say I got the map. I can check out where he lives, and I got every ghost haunt and UFO and Bigfoot sighting.
Nice. See, Mike O says Krakatoa and Tambora were global events.
Yes, the big global events.
Yellowstone was a global event too, from what I hear tell. That was a huge volcano.
I think that's one of the world's biggest.
One of them. Yeah. If it was to go off, we would not make it.
Nope, it's just too big. I do hear there's seismic activity, and the vents and stuff are actually way more active now. The geysers and stuff. Pretty sure Old Faithful is still on time though, as normal. So I'm hoping that's a good thing. I'm not sure. I'm not too.
I'm sorry,
I don't
what?
really learn too much about volcanoes.
What were you asking me, Ryan, before the buffering?
What's your favorite local legend again?
My favorite local legend is the Nightmarish Terror, cause it's about this fisherman that was like fishing in some lake and the dude was fishing, and the snake, he saw like a massive snake going through the river, and the snake scared him bad enough that he fell into the river and drowned.
Wow.
I haven't seen any like truth to the story or anything from while researching it, but I do have a book that I told you guys about, like that you said that you guys were going to read a copy of it. So
Yes, sir.
I think it's the American Cryptid Things.
Oh yeah, dude, that's crazy. The fact that they just discovered a 29-foot anaconda and saying it may be related to a titanoboa. So, so some of the legends are probably real because that's a world record. They spotted it. There was something else about giant snakes, and those are up in Massachusetts in the Bridgewater Triangle about giant black snakes.
It's really interesting how Ryan's area and my area has a lot of common stories about out in the woods and stuff.
In his area too, Texas has some similar stories of thunderbirds.
That's cool.
That would be probably in West Texas area. I live on the Piney Woods side. So
okay, you're actually.
Yeah, we get the stories about Bigfoot. Bigfoot has actually been seen on the Trinity, which is not far from my house. Trinity, of course, goes down most of Texas from Dallas all the way down to the Gulf. But yeah, no, it's
America.
And we got everything in Texas. We got desert, we got mountains, we got almost basically rainforest.
Out of all the things on my map, I think Texas actually has more Bigfoot sightings and UFO sightings than anywhere else.
I actually know a Bigfoot hunter who, again, is not far from me.
Texas is its own country. Cool. You're so big, dude.
At one time it was. Okay, all right.
But there's a huge swath of Texas that is just not inhabited.
Yeah, mostly the King Ranch. I mean, the King Ranch owns almost. You look at it on a map, it looks like they own like a quarter of Texas. I mean, it's the King Ranch is huge down there.
It's insane. Some of the stuff on this little map I have.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Julie, hit the like if you want to see Friday chug his drink. Oh Lord!
Oh God, that is hard stuff. Now, don't make him pass out before we're done.
Hey, I've already had to shed the blue shirt, and that's my thing. Whenever I stream, I wear the orange with the blue shirt over it. It's already warm in here.
It's a little warm. I don't think it's the temperature in the room there Friday. I got the UFO shirt on my jacket. It's only 50 degrees here in Virginia.
It's about 70 today in Tennessee.
Wow, you got nice weather.
Yeah, shorts and shirt.
Dude, the weather is changing. Have you guys noticed the fucking crazy storms? Keep destroying everything, right?
Currently 88 degrees here.
It's 88?
88.
I'd be sweating to death.
Let's see. 88 degrees in Celsius would be 31 degrees for Pomp. It's 31 degrees here.
Damn. Yeah, Celsius, we got to change it from inches to kilometers and centimeters and
right. Ryan,
we ought to just keep it all on one level thing instead of making it multitask.
Mike, what temperatures did you say it was there?
It was 75 here earlier today.
75, that is 23 degrees Celsius. Ryan, what was it there?
It's only maybe 60 at the most.
60, that's 15 degrees Celsius.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Mike, we watched the Challenger take off in 4th grade class as it occurred. I was in 1st grade whenever that happened. My sisters were in a different school because they were in a higher grade, and they remember the principal running in out of breath saying the Challenger just exploded. I remember that event. That was a big, big thing.
What year was that?
86.
I wasn't even born.
until
I was the
86.
next year.
I was born in '86. Actually, that was the year I was born. So.
Oh man,
Yeah, I wasn't
guys,
born. I
make it
remember
feel,
hearing about it.
you're making me feel old, guys. Stop it. Pop says early '80s wasn't it. It was for me.
Early
For a
'80s
second
was
there, I
the
thought-
shit for a lot of things: horror movies, cartoons.
The technology. I mean, God, I miss mixing tapes off the radio. That was
I
when
used
you
to do
grew
that
up.
also.
Yeah,
I miss VHS.
when you grew up in the '80s and part of the '90s, that's when we got to see technology that we use today come into being. So we remember what it's like before the technology, during the
Star Trek
technology.
shit.
Exactly.
You never realize how something so cool is. Well, something like the Discman or something like that is how cool it is until you can no longer find them except for online.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Julie says '80s was a great era. Yes. Yes, it was. I'll drink to that.
I think once we could do something like this, I was like, yeah, that's kind of magic. Because you're hundreds of miles away. You're both so far away. We're just chatting and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably one of my favorite things from technology.
Yeah. Absolutely. The Pomp says VHS and Betamax video recorders. My aunt had a Betamax, and she was so proud of that thing.
I miss doing this and having the tape, and you can put it in the VHS. Right away, you got a videotape.
I still got a
I miss my
VHS like
VHS.
right here, but I don't use it. But I still have like the very first copy of Star Wars on VHS, like the trilogy box set, and Indiana
I miss
Jones
this.
as well.
I had a Sony just like that. I miss those.
Yeah.
It had a switch, and you could switch to night vision. You could do heat vision. I'm sure you got all those on there Friday.
It doesn't have the heat vision. It does have the night feature, but it does not have the heat vision feature on this one.
I have heat vision, and I never used it that much, but night vision I used a lot.
This is the SCL 610 high 8. I have one tape for it. It has this has some history for me.
My old camera has a lot of history on it. I got to get my high 8 tapes redone to CD, whatever.
Yeah.
Digital. I don't know how you even do it, but
right. You pump. I'm over 4,500 miles away. And see
I bought was. I think it was like Jimi Hendrix or something was the last CD that I purchased, like when CDs were still a thing.
Yeah.
CDs are hard to find now, actually.
So that CDs, I keep them around all the time.
I have a bunch of old PlayStation 2 video games that I think might be worth money because I kept them good. And see, I don't have all my tapes at my parents' house. I don't have any of my VHS or my high 8 tape.
The oldest gadget I have, like that still works to this day, is like one of the original Sega Genesis that came out in like the late '90s, and up until this day, it still works. And I have all the consoles and everything. Like
Did you get Sonic? And
I got Sonic.
Crash Bandicoot. That might have been PlayStation. But there's a Ninja Turtles game that was amazing. Sega was my first game system.
Hey there, Wayne, by the way. Sorry, I was quickly hello. I was in the middle of blabbering my mouth.
Yeah, he says CDs don't really have much value, to be honest. No, I've got a 1996 Toyota 4Runner limited edition. Yes, I play CDs in that. If I had a tape deck in there, I would be mixing tapes as well. Let's see, where's the box at? Got the box down here. Hold on.
I don't have my old. Not my old. I was gonna say I have an old CD player somewhere.
Got a whole box full of blank tapes, still in the plastic. I mean, it's
Dude.
not even used.
You should use them.
Well, I'm being sparing with them.
Why
Yes.
not? I like the look of some of the older tapes and like stuff like that, or even the sound off of tape.
I love recording EVP on tape, and
On an actual tape, on a tape.
Yes, and there's an art to doing EVP on tape. There is an art to it.
That thing will pick up the slightest noise. So
everybody says, okay, yeah, you get machine noise, so there's your ghost is a machine noise. Okay, I expect the machine noise, so I know I can ignore that.
It's a constant noise, so you can overlook that.
Yeah, it's repetitive at best. It would be a beat. It would repeat over and over because everything's a wheel in there, everything's a gear in there. So you can
you know what the noise is while it's going, but then you have other noise come in, and if it ain't you, then you got something,
right?
Yep.
Now, and that actually, this goes back to this history for me. Whenever I started in 2005, this actually started a little earlier than that.
2001, I started skateboarding with a video camera all the time, and then jump off roofs. Jackass and CKY came out, so me and my friends started doing Jackass stuff.
We got Laura in the house.
Hi, Laura. Oh, Laura, what's up? Some of those old tapes I'm getting redone, and I'll put them up on YouTube. I have a 2.5-hour tape of just going through an abandoned asylum. Unfortunately, it died right before me and all my friends saw the shadow. There was a shadow kid at old Paul A. Dover in Bridgewater Triangle up in Mass.
Dang.
I actually tried using like a digital recorder before, but I didn't really like the way the digital recorder sounded whenever you actually caught something, because there was like so much interference in between the digital compared to the original recorders.
Some do not work like they should. It's that one, the DR60. Nobody should be using that.
No, I wouldn't even use that to level the leg on a table.
It's no good. It glitches all the time. So then you have weird noises. I don't know.
Well, what they're saying, what they think with the DR60 is that, okay, it has a broken feature in it where when everything gets quiet, it was supposed to, on most digital recorders, it was supposed to remove background noise. Well, this didn't do that. It did the opposite. The background noise was amplified.
Yeah.
And it sounds like total crap. And they think that, okay, well, since it's amplifying, you get to hear all the EVPs hidden in the noise. No, that's not what you're getting here. And then they want to go. Go ahead.
What's the same thing with cat balls? Those go off because the cat's supposed to play with them. The K2 meter. I have a K2 meter. That's for electrical EMF, electromagnetic field.
Have you guys ever tried like a rechargeable K2 meter before? I actually got one of those, and it was supposed to be one of the most responsible, not responsible, reliable is what I meant to say. K2 meters
you can get better things than the regular K2s that actually will show you like wind speed, temperature, every like milligauss, and like stuff that's way more high tech. That's really just going to help you with your environment. Still, it's these, and your feeling.
Yep. That's all I use,
really
if I especially when I go on a ghost tour, all I use is just like my intuition pretty much, and just the camera and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go. some equipment can help a bit. Don't use apps. Apps are jokes.
No apps. I hate apps.
I think they're
I
funny
found that out
sometimes.
once. I noticed that it started saying my name like repetitively. I was like, okay, that's got to be more than just like
Yeah,
something. It's just like,
it knows.
yes.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's an actual mel meter, right?
This is a tri-field meter,
Tri-field.
a 3-axis tri-field meter. So you're reading from 3 dimensions, not just 1 dimension.
That's a lot better than a K2 or any of those other ones.
Right. K2 is kind of like this guy here. This has got 1 axis on it. Yeah, you get numbers for it, and it tells you way, way more than a REM pod ever will.
So
this is better than a REM
This
pod.
is strictly electrical signal. There's my phone signal.
Yeah.
I like this. I was an electrician, so it's kind of silly. I don't think it really does anything. I got the Mel just to get temperature and if there's really high readings on the Mel meter, then it can be odd, but really you can get readings off of this of 0.5 or maybe even 1.2 or something, but if it really spikes, then it's kind of odd, or if it actually beeps. But this Mel meter is very old. I've had to change the actual this is the temperature gauge. This thing is old as hell.
Oh, wow.
What else? This I have had weird things happen while doing a live. Always put this to an AM station. You'll get less interference. The spirit box. Most of the time,
go ahead.
Most of the time, though, you might hear a radio station on the AM station. Even with the AM station, you still might get a radio station. What I've actually usually will do, I took the antenna out, and it's basically just kind of like a white noise box because it doesn't really pick up anything anymore on the AM station. But I can tune this to a radio station on FM and listen to music. So don't use FM.
Yeah, I actually Kev Kerr on Facebook. Do y'all know Kev Kerr?
Yeah,
I do. Okay,
yeah, definitely check him out, Mike. He's Kev Kerr. He's kind of like me. He's kind of like I think he's actually been on Kenny Biddle's live stream before, but he's all into the science about it. I mean, and you have to take a scientific approach to this stuff because
Yeah.
But anyway,
especially if you use gadgets. So.
Right, and that's what he was talking about today was a spirit box like that, and I kind of responded to him, told him that every time that thing is used, it kind of irks me a little bit because it's the power of large numbers. See, people ask these questions on these things that are open questions, like, what is your name? Well, that's an open question. Almost anything can fill that blank. And you're going through all these broadcasts that are intentionally providing words, music, information, entertainment, all this stuff. Anything can fill that blank. So if you listen long enough, you're going to get an answer. So that's why I hate Spirit Box.
Spirit Box is the most annoying device ever.
I can agree with that.
One time I did Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted. I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
Only one time I've had something weird, and it was... So I put this on an AM station. I was doing a live chat, and I said, "Hey, my name's Ryan. Can you say, hey Ryan?" And it said, "Hey, Ryan." Another time, my son... See, that... Okay, so that's either super luck or something actually worked with it. And I was freaking out during the live chat. This was 5-6 years ago. I was beginning to do investigating. And I really got like, whoa. But still, at the same point, maybe somebody named Ryan was on an AM station. You don't know. But another time, I did turn this on, me, my sister-in-law, my wife, and my kid was sleeping in the other room, but he came out at he was like 3 years old, and my father-in-law had just passed away, and on this radio on the AM station actually said, "Hey, bud, what you doing?" And it sounded like my father-in-law, and it was once my kid walked out and was in the room at 4 years old, and we all heard it, and we all went, "Whoa." And it was the only thing that night that really all of us looked at each other like, "Whoa, that's interesting." Because we can't dismiss everything. Some stuff seems natural, but might actually be a paranormal event.
Possibly. It comes down to probability and chance, to be honest.
It still could just be a coincidence, but
right. It was kind of like if you stop at a stoplight.
It was nice.
Right. If you stop at a stoplight and close your eyes, you can't tell if it's green, yellow, red, what you're dealing with. But when you open your eyes, you can see it. So it's no longer a chance or probability. You have a 100%. But when you're dealing with things that don't give you full data and all your information, you're dealing with the probability at that point. You're dealing with a percentage of a chance. It's never going to be 0, but it's never going to be 100% either. So
Occam's razor.
I love Occam's razor. Okay.
Yeah.
I use that shit every day.
Yeah. It's really it's a shit show to try and prove any type of paranormal activity on a video. It's a shit show. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
When it could be so many things, it's kind of like the noise and that was your neighbor's shipping container that you were in with that noise. It's a probability on what it was. I mean, we still don't know what could have caused that. I mean, there was nothing to hit the building unless somebody
hit the building.
Right. I mean, if somebody ran out of the woods, hit it with a pellet gun, and then ran away, I mean, it's the probability is not zero.
I don't think it could have even been that, because I went back over there and I did some testing on it. Mm-hmm. And I had some various things that I just picked up along the way, like maybe a pebble or an acorn or different things I found while I was in there, and just to see what would happen if I were to throw it up against the building. And when I threw it up against the building, it was loud as hell. It was loud and deep. It sounded like a door almost closing. So it couldn't have been anything like that. Even a piece of candle wax was very loud and deep.
Wow. And you couldn't get it.
It was in there with you, Mike. That is still probably one of the most interesting, because that's it's rather similar to the footsteps I just caught at Fort Monroe. I still cannot, I can't get past it, and I will just talk about it because I don't know what the fuck happened. I didn't see anybody. I could see out to the street. I could see around me. I could see to the left and right. There was no one around. But footsteps walked up to me, so I think that's the route to go.
It really did sound like marching.
It's weird. You be careful there, Friday.
No, I'm that far down here.
All right.
I am.
I had to refill mine 3 times. This is how big the thing was I had.
Oh, you got a big boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Let's see. Thorne says the only paranormal things I've experienced is something hitting my back when I was alone and my bed shaking. That's unnerving. That will definitely be
that's cool. Very interesting.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice when I did a ghost tour, I'm not thinking it was paranormal, though. I think it might have just been an electrical oddity or something. But I didn't even see it with my own eyes when it happened. But I noticed it when I was going over the editing and rewatching it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Once I sat down on the bench and started asking questions, I started looking around, and then I didn't see it. Like I said, I didn't see it with my own eyes. But when I was looking at it through the camera on my tablet, something kind of made the lights kind of blink, like in the thing. But I didn't see the lights blink like on with my own eyes when it happened.
Interesting.
So I thought that was kind of weird.
That's a different one. See, different shit like that. You don't know. Maybe that was something odd happening, and you didn't catch it at the time. But reviewing your video,
There's something that might have caused that. Ryan, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this. If something caused it to get out of phase, the camera will catch a dip in the light that our eyes will not catch.
depending on your frame rate on your camera, yeah.
Exactly. And most stuff in the US is set to 60 hertz, not 50 hertz.
Right.
So,
That makes sense.
possibility? Yes,
As you say that, Michael, my lights are flickering in my camera in my camper, and it looks like there's a bug inside of one of my lights. It looks like a big moth or something. So it's so weird. Why? I don't know if I could show it. I don't know if I could show that. I've never seen these lights flicker. They're camper lights, so they're just tap one light source. But that started flickering as soon as you fucking said that. So I guess I'll point out. I don't know.
Could it be mere coincidence?
No, just another random thing that happens. All right.
Yep.
No big deal.
Let's see, Thorn Grove says, I have had experiences where I was alone and I thought I heard something say my name when I was the only one in the house, but I thought it was my imagination. A lot of people have had that, Thorn. That does happen quite a lot. And the unsettling part about it is there is just no answer to that.
I've actually had that happen to me recently.
Mm-hmm.
As my family was at work, and I was here with the animals, just doing what I usually do, editing stuff. And I heard what sounded like one of my parents saying my name coming from the back bedroom. And I was sitting there, I was like, they're not supposed to be here right now. And I got up and looked. Sure enough, no one was here. But clear as day, it sounded like somebody was mimicking my mother's voice, saying my name.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, I have a similar one. Me and my sister sitting in the living room. My grandmother said, "Hey, Nikki, come here." And my parents weren't home, and me and my sister went, "What was that?" It was only 2 weeks after my grandmother passed away.
That's really... That sort of stuff just intrigues me.
Similar thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things in paranormal that can be attributed to. Problem is we don't know which one it actually is. You have copycats, you have spirits that are, according to near-death experience, they talk about beings that are unnaturally produced beings, and that we as people, because we're part of Source, what they call God, we actually manifest them and create them ourselves. And these are people that have
manifest what you believe.
Right. We have the power to create these beings, and that's why they're so unnerving to us, because they're unnatural, and we can feel that, and they tend to mimic the people that we're missing. That's one theory. Another theory, residual haunting. They've recorded themselves onto the environment, and that would fall under to a level of quantum physics that I'm not quite familiar with. I love quantum physics, love all that, but that would be...
It's so crazy.
Exactly.
It's so high tech. You're talking
I'm more of a
Einstein.
history guy myself.
Wayne, look. Looks like Friday is drinking out of a gas canister.
Basically, you could put that in the gas tank there Friday.
It's
You
a
can
half
run your
gallon.
lawnmower off of
Got
that.
its own funnel and everything.
It's a half a gallon.
Dude, you didn't fill that with the moonshine, right?
No. I'm just working up the effort here.
Me
Oh,
too,
Wayne.
Wayne. Being able to teleport would be awesome.
Oh, if we could, that would save so much in gas.
Yes, it would.
Teleport would be awesome. Yeah.
I'll be going to every haunted place and writing stories like that.
I'd be in Tennessee, going to Texas. I'd be all over. I think Waverly Hills is one of the top ones I want to go to.
Definitely. If it wasn't so overrun and expensive. Pomp says, sorry guys,
I can't afford it.
have to stay, but I've got a call to take. So Pomp, come back anytime. You're great. Thank you for being here, Pomp. Thank you.
Here, Pop.
Oh,
I do have another question. What's your favorite horror movies?
You already know mine. Mine's Leprechaun and Pumpkinhead, Night of the Living Dead, stuff like that, pretty much. Yeah.
Good one.
I'm going to be completely honest. I have never been a fan of horror movies because to me it was... I'm like, hey, this is not an accurate representation of paranormal. This is just...
So, how about sci-fi or like monster? Do you have any favorite sci-fi or monster movie?
Mm-hmm. The Black Lagoon and Godzilla, pretty much.
Black Lagoon?
Yeah.
I'm into space stuff, personally. So yeah, the original Star Wars. That's stuff they're doing on Disney right now. I don't know what the hell that is.
Some of it is. I forget the name of it, but there is a new show for Star Wars that wasn't bad, and a bunch of kids find a spaceship and take it out. The Skeleton Crew, or I forget what it is, but I think it's something like that. That one's not too bad for the newer Star Wars. And Mandalorian was alright, but original Star Wars was badass.
Let's see, Julianne has
I like
to
the
go.
original. It's the best.
Sorry,
Which one?
you go, Julianne.
The classic, like the Revenge of the Jedi and stuff like that. The very first ones.
Yeah. Ewoks and shit.
Oh yeah, I actually used to have a stuffed Ewok when I was a kid, but I kept it up in the attic, and unfortunately the mice got a hold of it. I'm like, damn it!
I still have the Millennium Falcon with the little tiny action figures, and you can open it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's worth money someday. I'll give it to my kids.
Remember back in the late 80s, no, middle to late 80s, they had a cartoon of the Ewoks Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I used to wake up every morning, Saturday, and watch the Saturday morning cartoons. That was my thing. I loved the Beetlejuice one and the Ghostbuster one.
Yeah.
If I could do that today, I would.
Ninja Turtles and stuff. That was my top stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now they make things like this. I got a Ninja Turtle, but he's not. That's not quite a Ninja Turtle, but close.
I'm going to go ahead and plug one thing. I dabbled a little bit in voice acting, and Mike knows a little bit about this because he's helping somebody with that. It's a little project a friend of mine come up with. He's mixing the Ninja Turtles with Oh man, why am I totally missed it. 2027. I got to think of the name here in a minute. Right, what I'm experiencing is actually called Presque-Vu. I'm trying to remember something in my brain.
Not deja vu.
Around it, walking thing. Cyberpunk 2027. He's mixing that with the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, wow.
And the story's amazing. The story's amazing. I mean, he's doing a good job on it. And I've got to record the lines, but he has me doing the voice of Baxter Stockman and Adam Smasher as well. And yeah, I mean, it just brings the Ninja Turtles right back to,
original
2020, 2003.
Give him my contact if he needs any more voice actors, man.
Actually, he might need some. Right now, he's looking for some actors or for some writers. But Soundbreaker, I hope I'm not crossing the line here by talking about this, but it's a great thing. I might actually just provide the link to his YouTube channel here. But yeah, it's a great project. So people are keeping the turtles alive. The turtles are awesome.
Some of the newer stuff's all right. I watched some of the live action Ninja Turtles. It was all right, but I don't know. Original is still the best. There's some other older stuff that I like absolutely love. Back to the Future. So I actually got to go sit in the time machine from Back to the Future, and then this guy up in Mass had he had Marty's truck, the black truck. He had Doc's car. He had the car that got hit by the train. He had the Ghostbusters Echo 1 car and let me sit in it. He started it up. I got to wear a real Echo, what's it, plasma backpack? I can't think right now.
Proton pack.
Too many. Yeah, Proton pack. I got to wear one. One of the ones that was in the movie. That's
I want one of those for yard work.
Man. What's that, Mike?
So I want one of those for yard work. That would come in handy when I was making that meditation area for the stairs, man. Instead of using a shovel like a chump.
There's actually a discrepancy in the name of those things. The real Ghostbusters cartoon that came after it, they really rammed in the name Proton Pack. But if you listen to the original movie, he says positron supplier. Well, positron is the opposite of an electron. It's the antimatter version of it. Yeah, so basically what the proton packs was a miniature Hadron Collider is what that was.
When you shoot that, you would blow everything up.
Yeah. And the thing is actually possible. Only problem is the backpack would be the size of a Sherman tank. Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to wear
it.
They would be huge.
A live nuclear reactor on your back, you'd probably die after like an hour anyway.
I mean, I'm sure Proving Demons would use that when they're not trying to use salt guns.
I love that. That's hilarious. I thought that was pretty funny. Proving Demons shooting the salt gun. I was cracking up.
I was sure that was satire whenever he was doing it, but you know what?
Yeah, it was a joke. I'm hoping, but some of the shit he done, I was like, oh god.
That was satire when he was doing it. It has to be. That had to have been a joke.
I'm thinking it had to be just a joke. What's that TV show Supernatural? They do shit like that.
Yeah.
Supernatural. Yeah, that's a great show. It's definitely funny and it's not meant to be
for like 84 seasons almost.
Yeah, Andrew, he's got some And really, all of them, they've got some whack ideas. They really do. I mean, you got to
It's
hand
a
it to
lot.
them. Mhm.
It's a lot of trouble on YouTube to get views, but with some of the shit they do, it's like, well, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. And I know what it's for. It's for views. It's for clicks. And they're trying to do the same thing the rest of us are doing. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not defending them in any way. Okay, I'm not defending the lie, but
Right.
for the
It can be
entertainment
funny to
value,
watch.
yeah,
It can be funny to watch.
it's hilarious that they're doing this stuff to begin with.
Some of it gets to the point where you're like, wow, I actually believed Mindseed for a while. Some of these other channels, it's just about money for them. But
I gave up hope on
I
Ghost
also
Adventures
realized,
once I realized they were working with Jody Dean of Hunting the Dead.
Oh wow!
I used to talk to that guy like for a little bit,
Yeah.
and he was doing Randonautica stuff, but he was actually, at least this is what I've read or heard someone say, that he was actually paying some guy to actually stalk him in order to show up in every video.
you put
And
a
he got
mask on
mad.
and scare the shit out of us.
Yeah, he got mad at me just because I was using my critical thinking skills and analyzing it. I was just like, okay, if Randonautica is supposed to be legit, how come this guy keeps on showing up everywhere you go? I mean, and he hid me from the channel just because of saying that right there.
Yeah, you get in trouble if you say anything on the bigger channels. I think I said some stuff to a few too many big channels, and I got like shadow banned all over the place.
And Julie says Jody Dean was another clown. Jody Dean, I'm not familiar with that one.
I don't know that one.
Not missing anything.
Jody Dean, that's who was that, Julie?
That's Hunting the Dead. He's Hunting the Dead.
That Hunting the Dead?
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't seen any of that.
I watch a lot of small channels. I don't watch big people anymore just because of that. And I get it's fun to watch sometimes, but like CJ Fashion, some of those other, oh my god. There's so many that are. I like some things that had to do with the history of places. Like I watched a lot of the Queen Mary, the Clown Motel, old what is it, Virginia something out in Nevada, the old gold mines. So I learned a lot. I did. I learned a lot about different places. Some of my favorite things now is like Cerro Gordo. There's a guy that lives out there, and he just lives there at the old gold silver mine, and that place I guarantee is haunted. But he goes 900 feet underground and finds old relics and shit.
Oh wow,
he's crazy, man. Please check out Cerro Gordo. You'll see who I'm talking about. He's got a red beard, more red than mine.
You mentioned the Queen Mary. That actually has a little bit of history in my family. My grandfather on my mother's side, he was a World War II foot soldier. Sorry, I'm slurring a little bit. Kind of buzzing. So. Don't know why.
No worries. I just had to mute my mic and burp.
Yeah, there's no reason why.
But I believe it was the Queen Mary that was converted to a wartime ship. My grandfather came back on the Queen Mary from Germany, and now my grandfather he was an atheist. He didn't believe in none of it, but he said there was some weird stuff happening on that ship that he couldn't explain.
No atheist in a foxhole.
Well, to listen to him talk, but he claimed to be an atheist. I don't think he was really an atheist. I think it was more of an image thing.
That's one of my like old things. I read a lot, and I've heard a saying that's one of my favorites from Mark Twain. No amount of evidence will ever convince an idiot. So there's that side of the story too, but then he also has an opposite quote, which is like, no amount of evidence could convince the smartest man in the world, because it's the same type of. It's very difficult for paranormal to be proven any which way, but I know what I've seen. I 100% believe in ghosts and paranormal.
Yeah,
UFOs, Bigfoot. I'm still a little like, I don't know. Loch Ness Monster,
I've heard some
probably
stuff.
just another animal, but
I'm kind of off on Bigfoot, but I've heard some stuff that I couldn't quite explain back when I was doing some exploring. But it almost sounded like whooping sounds, almost, but it wasn't an owl. But
there's good evidence for existence of Bigfoot. Michael.
But
well, I can't say that Bigfoot's not there.
But I can't really say it was that without like just like no one's gonna believe it was that. So I was just like, probably a natural explanation for this.
Maybe some other animal. So. But I've had monkey noises out in the woods in Massachusetts. There shouldn't be monkey noises or screaming. I believe in Mothman like almost 100% just by going to the museum in Point Pleasant. After reading some of the, I know it's crazy, but Mothman, there's so much evidence and Native American evidence. Yeah. History is weird, man.
Yeah, I like
Tennessee
Mothman.
Supposedly has Mothman stories, so because I've been
Mothman
really,
gets around on the East Coast.
Yeah, Chicago. Mm-hmm. I believe he's been spotted all the way to California.
Not so much on the West Coast, but more on the eastern side of the United States. But I like Mothman. I'm interested by that. It's only related by the movie, but unrelated. I'm also interested in Indrid Cold. Indrid Cold, my favorite. And I like the dog-headed man. And that intrigues me only because whenever I was a kid, I had a dream about dog-headed people long before I ever read about the Cynocephali. Yeah. And that has to be where the legend of the werewolf came from. It has to be.
There could be cryptids.
And Roanoke or Ruggery both are very interesting cryptids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, them too.
That's a lot of people say skinwalkers, but that's a specific type of thing. There are different cryptids. I have to say, after the giant octopus and the giant squid were pulled out of the ocean, we have cryptids. We have sea monsters, pirates' tails were correct.
Yeah.
They weren't just saying the ship got attacked by a giant monster. They really got attacked by a giant freaking squid.
Let's see. Thorngroves asks, what urban legends do you not believe in?
That's tough.
Well, in Tennessee, we have one called Bunny Man Bridge or something. And supposedly it's like where a bunch of campers go and they get offed by like some psychopath or a cryptid or something, supposedly that looks like a giant bunny wielding an axe. But I was like, I've never come across any.
Virginia is a bunny man.
I was like, I never came across any research claiming that a bunny man could actually exist. So it's probably just some dude in a bunny costume going around offing people in Tennessee, probably.
Right.
But that was my thoughts on it.
That's a funny one. I like it. There is Bunny Man in Virginia. That's like an old cryptid, but it's probably a guy in a suit.
Possibly. It kind of reminds me of that whole craze with the clowns.
I was just gonna say the clown craze.
Yeah.
I don't like clowns.
Yeah. I don't have chlorophobia or anything like that, but the whole clowns thing, it's like I seen one video where you had 4 people in a car And they were worried about
Yeah.
this guy on the road in a clown suit. They were scared of him. Okay, you outnumber him 4-1 for one, and second, you're in a car. Why are you afraid of this guy? It's unreal.
Yeah. That's
I think a
funny
lot of
one.
my phobia for clowns dates back to my childhood, pretty much because I was at a carnival one time, and we were like riding my family and I was riding one of those rides that like takes you up, like kind of like not a, what's it called? Ferris wheel. It's not one of those, but it's like one that flips you around, kind of. And my seatbelt came off, and I was kind of like, thankfully my mom and my big sister caught me because I was like only maybe 5 at the time, and I almost like fell, like out of the little like ride itself, and then I looked down. Last thing I saw was like a clown making a balloon at him. I'm like, fuck you, dude.
That will scare the crap out of you. Yeah.
I was like, let me the fuck out of here. At 5 years old, I was sitting there cussing at him.
So, should I make another drink here?
I just drank the last of my beer, but
I still got a little bit.
I'm going to do it.
Go
Hold on
for
a
it.
second. You two continue for just a minute. I'm going to go get some ice.
Sounds good.
So, Michael, I'm gonna
Yeah.
one of these days I'm gonna come by your house. I want to see
Sounds
some of
good,
those
man.
mounds that you found.
I found one, and I think possibly another one. The other one's somewhere back behind my grandmother's house. It kind of looks similar, but it doesn't have like a trail going around it. But it's like a raised field that looks pretty much the same as the other one did. But it's like underneath a whole lot of shrub and stuff growing into it.
Do you have a camera you could set up out by your woods and just stick like a light out there and let it run for like a couple hours? I've been
I
thinking about
do
doing
not.
that with just my phone. Yeah, I got it. I want to
I
do
do
that with
not
just my phone.
because back when I thought about doing that, but back when I was like doing forest exploration and stuff before I realized 98% of the time nothing was going to happen, I thought about getting a trail cam, and then I realized that it was probably going to be illegal if I wasn't on some of my own property doing that. So I didn't want to get into any legal trouble doing that.
Yeah. I'm thinking of stealing my dad's trail camera and putting it out somewhere just to see, because if I put it deep in the swamp in the Bridgewater Triangle and then pin the spot and tell my dad to go get it, maybe I could catch something out in the woods, some of those spook lights again. Because I've seen weird lights in the woods. I know you've seen spook lights before.
I saw like a couple of pair, but I think one of the pair might have actually been a star and the clouds just went over it. The one that was across the street that I showed you. But one I cannot explain. I actually have this one on my Discord server on is this like evidence of the unknown or something? It's like a little section I created. And I was filming on an old school like track phone. It was like not even a smartphone. You couldn't even have like the fancy gizmos, flashlights, or touchscreen or anything. Just like the standard button smartphone. Back at that time when I made that video, back when the big word you're not supposed to say on YouTube was going on, and I was sitting out there. I was getting ready to walk home because it was like between my house and my grandparents' house. My grandparents lived down in a hollow. And I was walking home because it was a nice night and I felt like walking. And I was like, I got the weird vibe that I felt like I was being watched by something. And 98% of the time, when I get that vibe and shine my cell phone camera like in the direction, I'll wind up capturing something on it. And when I was looking over there, I started looking through my camera. I looked down at my camera. I was like, "What the hell is that?" That I'm looking at. And then I looked up with my eyes. I was like, "Huh?" Because I didn't see it with my own eyes. But then I looked down with my camera and I saw like these huge blue and yellow orbs, like in the woods. They were in the woods, like close to the ground, not like in the sky or anything.
That's
And
very similar to what I've seen.
there was no vehicles going by because you would be able to hear ATVs and stuff going by.
Yeah.
And it wasn't headlights because it was too low to the ground. It was like maybe about like 1 inch off of the ground. And it was silent. It was so silent that you could probably hear somebody walking in the woods, like from where I was at on the road.
Yeah, so you definitely had what I call a spook light experience, which is great. That's very rare. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. Mine was blue or white, and then one time it was orange or yellow. I think that was the abandoned railroad tracks, and I called it Ghost Light Bridgewater Triangle on here. And it's an old story about a conductor walking down the tracks, and he'll be carrying a lantern. And me and my sister-in-law and my friends are walking up this abandoned railroad track in the Bridgewater Triangle, and we're still like a mile from the crossroads. And that's where we had like some chairs set up and where we had our base camp. And we saw a light up ahead, and everybody said, "Oh, that's our base camp." And we still walked for another like 10, 15 minutes. We were still like more than a half mile away, but we all saw a spook light out in the woods. Another time in my marriage. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say that video that I posted on my Discord would have been so much better, but it was like on the spot. So this is like back when I first had an interest in the paranormal, even though I had it my whole entire life. And I was sitting there, I'm standing outside at night, and can I see these lights that I'm capturing on my camera with my own eyes? I was like, I would go closer, but I'm not gonna go there without my ghost hunting kit. Then I'm thinking back on it now, I'm like, what the fuck is that gonna do?
You could have ran towards it, but
see, Ryan, that's kind of interesting. The story you're talking about. We have a road not too far. Okay, it's an hour away, so it's that far away. It was a railroad track, and they took up the tracks in the 1930s. And it's called the Ghost Road of East Texas, or the Bragg Road. You can also find it by looking up the Saratoga Lights.
Okay, yeah, we know the Saratoga Lights.
Yes, I've been there many, 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 many times, and I actually have an idea on how to find out what the light is, but we'll get to that later. But that's one of them.
Actually help.
Yeah. But that's one of the legends that they say is that the rail worker was out there. And for this one, it was during a hurricane. He was trying to clear the track. Train come by. He got his head cut off and is holding the lantern to look for his head. And you hear that
similar story.
Yeah. Another legend is
every state.
Yeah. Well, the road is 8 miles long. Oh, we have a celebrity in the house. Boo Productions.
What's up,
hey, Jeff.
What's up?
Jeff and Dana, how are you doing today? Thank you very much for showing up. I've had 2 drinks so far, and I'm working on my third one.
I finished all mine.
Third glass is only thinking of this, and I only have one of these big fellas.
I'm happy though.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good myself. But to be fair, I'm having the Everclear.
Yeah, dangerous stuff.
Very dangerous. I started here, we're now down to here.
You're already. You did a good job.
I can handle it pretty good.
I would have been
You
on
want
my ass with that stuff by now.
shit, James? I got to catch up on drinks. But anyway,
Every
with
time we say ghost, you have to drink.
oh god,
How many ghosts have you seen? About 16 ghosts now.
so with me, it's different. I
I
can't
haven't
say that
seen-
they were actual ghosts. It's a probability. It's that percentage of a number. It's a chance.
I never seen a ghost. I never actually seen a ghost, but I've heard phantom sounds and see things open up before me when nobody else was there and no drafts and stuff were there. And that's why I believe that we're like molecules or energy or something like you said in a post earlier this week, Friday. Hopefully we can come back and as like in the afterlife and stuff, because I never once seen a physical form of an apparition.
Twice in my life.
I've
Shadow
seen
Kid.
things. Mhm.
I've seen
I would
Shadow
love
Cat.
to. And the first time I do, I hope I have a stick, because when I have the stick, I am going to poke it with it if I see one.
Well, I asked Kenny Biddle one time what would be proof of it. He says if he pokes something and it's squishy. So I asked him if he poked something that was squishy.
Something's there.
Eventually,
If
I'm
I
going to
poke
try to get
something and
Kenny
it
on
doesn't
here,
poke me back, then it might be a ghost.
right?
I understand people's skepticism towards paranormal, but as soon as I had my first Shadow Kid experience at Paul A. Dever, there was no more. It wasn't that I believed or anything. I just knew that shit was real after that point. I probably could have started YouTube right when YouTube came out, but I was having too much fun. Paranormal research, 6 years now, and on YouTube. But before that, I had so many more experiences. Probably why I started.
Man, I'm jealous. All you guys have seen something like with your own eyes, and I have not seen anything. I just heard and like witnessed stuff opening.
You've heard. You've heard stuff. You've had
heard.
weird shit happen.
That's one of the 5 senses. I mean, it's just as important as hearing or seeing or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen and heard stuff before, but most of what I experienced was whenever I was a kid. So now that I'm here and I've studied physics and everything to the point that I have, I'm like, really? I mean, what did I really experience? I mean, as a kid, you hear a lot of ghost stories, but is that really what I experienced or what happened? You know, and
if I was alone, I'd be right in the same boat. But I was with 7 people and we saw that shadow figure. So, and I could still talk to my best friend was with me. He'll say, "Yep, we all experienced the same thing." If my first UFO experience was alone, I don't know if I'd believe that. My sister was with me and 3 of my friends, and we all experienced the same thing. It was not mass hallucination.
Right.
We didn't take drugs like that. We might have had some drinks. We were teenagers, but
right. Thorngrove says, I have to go now. Midnight movie marathon with my friend. See you all next time. Thank you very much for showing up, Thorn. You were the first in the chat, so you got the trophy for being first on this.
Apologies on the internet interferences. That was probably my end due to weather.
Thank you for showing up, Thorn. Oh. Well, I can no longer feel my joints. That's a good thing.
Yeah, my back doesn't hurt.
Yeah. My ass is numb from sitting in this wooden antique chair right here that I have.
Yeah, put a cushion on it, man.
I didn't think about putting a cushion in. I was just like, why not?
Jeff says Miss Boo had a UFO story. I think she's full of crap. Just kidding.
So
Smart move, Jeff.
actually, tomorrow I'm going back up to Bridgewater Triangle,
Mm-hmm.
and I have one that I still swear by is Real Ghost Voice Bridgewater Triangle. I'm going right back to the same spot, and I'm hoping something happens again. It was just a disembodied voice in my ear.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, I even say in the video, I thought it was a dog bark off in the distance or some noise off in the distance. But reviewing the video, I slowed it down, turned up the volume on my TV, and you can actually hear something whisper in my ear. So ever since that, I've actually been more looking for actual sound evidence or visual evidence, or hopefully one day the little music box will go off because you actually have to turn the handle or the bell. So I keep looking into more of the manual operated devices because I do believe that it's possible for them to interact with some of the manual shit.
Right,
Because,
and I see where you're going with that, and I mean, because most of everything you have out there is a EMF device. Okay,
electrical.
you can't rely on these because the Earth has a magnetic field, and we're being hit with stuff from the sun all the time, and it's moving this field. And when this field moves, EMF devices go off. So when you have like a dead bell or something like that, it's going to go off randomly. It's a useless device. It's not telling you anything about what's going on.
Yeah,
That's kind of my theory. Like,
that's what I like this.
do you like the idea?
Like Jeff says here, yes, Ryan, that's the bell people. Mm-hmm.
My theory is, I feel as though if I could touch something and make it go off, then a ghost should be able to produce enough energy and make something, and touch something and make it go off. Pretty much, like they can make all the other sounds and stuff that.
But you got to,
I guess.
But
yeah, you got a few.
I tried it, but I was like, I was just saying, I feel as though, like, as I was saying, if I could touch it, they should be able to touch it, but mainly because of if they can do, like, produce enough energy, like, to make all the other sounds and make things open up and close, then they should be able to sit over there and have enough energy to press a button or ring a bell or make the little thing pop up and make a noise.
They
like
can
Ryan
knock
was
on
saying.
doors.
Well, you got to think about this. Okay, everything that we have here, including the drinks that we're enjoying tonight, everything's made of molecules. Molecules are made of atoms. Atoms are made of base particles. An electron is a base particle. You can't break it down into anything else. You have protons, neutrons, quarks, charms, gluons, bosons,
tachyons.
These are all matter that we can detect, things that we can interact with, things that we know about. But what is the spirit made of? What material? We can't say energy because energy is it's a blanket term.
You have energy around you all the time.
Yeah. I mean, as far as energy in this universe that we're in right now, energy is something that matter has. It's a property of that matter. It actually has a number that can be attributed to this property of matter, like color, light, mass, whatever. It's properties added to the matter. So we can't say that ghosts are energy because literally, one, we don't know. We don't know that. That's an assumption.
Yeah, basically.
But I mean, they're made of a type of matter. If they exist, they have to be made of some kind of matter, but it's intangible to this universe.
So antimatter, dark matter, quantum foam, there's so much, but we used to call it the ether, and actually we've forgotten about the ether.
Decepticons.
There's actually
Transformers.
patented devices that are supposed to run off of ether, and those are very old, and we've forgotten about them. Some patents go back to Stubblefield Earth battery. That's just a copper wire stuck into the ground, but pulls power from Earth's magnetic geomagnetic field.
Tesla knew about.
Within our world, I think you've said it to me Friday. Maybe we're not in a regular world, we're in a paranormal realm. We are in a realm that is all paranormal, and we're paranormal in a way. If you're saying paranormal, that just means odd and not normal. We're definitely not normal. If we're the only fucking species of the universe that's alive, then we ain't normal.
Right.
But there's plenty of other planets out in different solar systems and different galaxies, probably living life and having fun.
Right.
It only makes sense to me, I guess, but you guys probably believe some of that too. Multiverse.
Yeah.
Other existence of life on other planets has to be real. There's billions of stars.
Let's see. Julie says,
thing, I'm not so sure of. No.
Right. Julie says, I got to get off an early start in the morning. Great live, guys. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Julie. You've been a great moderator, and I thank you so much for joining us.
She is one of the best moderators.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And let's see. Waterhorse says, the human spirit has mass, but it's a mass that we do not yet have the proper equipment to detect. I agree with that. When my dad died, I watched something leave him. I can't explain it. Sorry for the grave example. Well, it's
my grandmother, Friday house, same thing. I watched my grandmother die, and we watched something leave her body, and the lights flickered. My sister was there, my uncle, my mother. She died at home, and we saw, I would say, her soul leave.
And it affected the electromagnetic field. But anyway, sorry. Yeah. Michael, you were giving us, you were telling us something. Continue, please. Sorry about that, but continue.
I was telling you something. I don't really remember what I was talking about. I think it was actually Ryan that was saying something.
Was it Ryan? I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's take another drink and see if we can remember better.
I got a little left.
Yeah, I'm trying to sip this. It's like down to like right here, like at the bottom of the cup. It's starting to get warm.
Mine is not. I should have grabbed another beer. I did get a big boy though. I'm happy.
Right?
Yeah, same here. I'm surprised it lasted this long. I usually just like down it after I work.
What are you two doing next? I say I'm going to Massachusetts tomorrow, and I'm going to do investigating all over.
Are you going to be live?
I'll go live. I'll go live a couple times probably.
Okay. I'll try to catch it.
I'll definitely
My work
be there.
schedule is all over the place.
Yeah. All good. If it's not live, it'll probably just be certain topics. I want to go to the Oliver House. That's been a big one around in the paranormal community for a while. I've been there, and you definitely can just feel stuff. There's Native American burial mounds outside of that house. Mm-hmm. There's crazy history for that house. If I can get in there and just walk around the house and walk around the yard, I'll do that.
That sounds fun, man. I would love to go like to Fort Monroe and like just like stay there and be able to like sit there and write and stuff like all day long. That'd be so awesome.
If I can get to Fort Monroe and stay overnight one night, I gotta ask permission.
How do you ask permission for that?
So the main office, you actually buy tickets for like the casement where they have like all the stuff set up. There's still the old cannons and stuff. And it's like a museum where Edgar Allan Poe had his jail cell and shit. But I think you can take tours, like ghost tours, But what they're renovating and stuff right now, when that's done renovating, I'm going to ask if I can go into quarters 1. And quarters 1's where Abraham Lincoln used to stay on the fort. And if I could do an investigation, I don't care how much I'd have to pay. I'll figure out how to pay for it. And if I could do it by myself, that'd be great. If I can get like maybe a group of 3 or 4, and just, you have to be real careful. These buildings are really old. So I understand that it might not happen, but I'm still going to ask.
Yeah. If I'm ever in Virginia, I'm going to swing by and we could team up and go there. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely take you there. It's only 5 minutes from my house. It's free to go. But
yeah, is it totally weird that the main thing that I got from that is Edgar Allan Poe was in jail?
Yeah, he got locked up for desertion of war.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can go see his jail cell.
By the way, Edgar Allan Poe is one of my favorite writers.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He was awesome.
Definitely unique.
He was
a lot of it, but yeah.
He was an admiral for one of the cannon stations at Fort Monroe, and I don't remember everything. I'd have to read it again, but maybe that'll be a tour I take. But when I go up to Mass and when we come back, I'm going on a tall ship out of Norfolk, so like an old pirate ship type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been a dream of mine. I'm taking my wife the day before her birthday. I was a smart guy, and at first I didn't even think of that. I just wanted to go on a big tall ship. And then I was like, wait, it's almost my wife's birthday. I'm going to do a sunset sail trip on the... I was thinking.
Move.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. I am seriously buzzing right now.
Awesome. I think that's how it's supposed to go if we're drinking and having fun.
Yeah.
You did drink the hardest stuff out of all of us, so I can't blame you.
Yeah, I was smart, man. I wanted to be sure that I had my wits about me when the questions started flowing and everything. So I was just like, I'm gonna go with the mics are limited instead of anything heavy.
I only had 5 beers, so I'm not that bad. I'm not two sheets to the wind. 2-ply paranormal. You hear 2 sheets?
Right. I got about that much. Whenever I'm done with that, I'm done.
Yeah. Go slow.
Friday, I just saw a message from Cal on the Bros channel. He was asking if we were still alive.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's see.
And I apologize on my internet service like earlier, guys. The weather was kind of starting to act like it was going to get stormy, and then the power just like went out for a brief minute to forever to like boot back up. I was sitting there cussing the whole time. I was like, "Come on!" It's like every single time.
I heard, like, what, a week or 2 ago, you had, like, tornadoes run through your area, right, Michael?
Yeah, I did, but thankfully it missed my neighborhood and it went to the town. It's maybe about 15 minutes away and destroyed a lot of the buildings there. Fortunately, I have a friend that's over there, and he said that him and his family are good. So,
that's good, man. Crazy weather going on.
It is.
I think that has to do with the magnetic pole shift. That shit's on, like, Siberia now.
Jeff says, James, don't drink and text. Bad idea.
Did Matt ever say he's going to come on?
I can barely text when I'm not drinking, man. That's why I have to edit so many stuff. Which is why if I ever gonna write a book like about ghost stories that I collect, I'm gonna voice type it and make sure I enunciate instead of actually text it.
Right?
Sometimes text doesn't read like you meant it.
No.
Not at all, man.
I got timed out of a chat one time. It was one of my friends, D. Scott, in the Shadow Seekers. I was trying to type in "he'll," like he will, and instead it came out as hell.
Hell. Oh, hell.
It's like timed out for like 5 minutes. It's like
There is
seriously.
a two-ply in here.
Jamie, good to see you come in. Yes, this is drink number 3.
Hey, Jamie and
I
Britt.
summoned two-ply. I don't have any drink left. I should
I
have got
still
more
got
beer.
this much.
I don't have nothing. I chugged my beer.
I was being smart and using my drink wisely. It's my voice
I
is
need
out as a
water.
narrator.
Right? So, what's up, Jeff? Great video last night. Jeff, I have not watched the video yet, but I do have it on my list to watch. I will be seeing.
I did
will
actually
be-
watch it. That was pretty funny stuff. He said I was the winner of some dirt or something. That was pretty funny. I was like, I'll gladly take it. Put it on my little mantle over here of Ryan's wands and stuff.
My trophy.
We might get to see Matthew. Matt, he's trying to get in here. He has some stuff going on, but definitely. Well, we're almost on hour 2. This is the longest.
I know, man. It feels like we ought to do
Didn't
this more
feel
often,
like 2
guys. When we
hours.
live stream,
We do need to do this more
Makes
often.
it makes
Yeah, we'll
it
definitely
makes
do
it
this
flow
again. This
easier,
is
man.
fun.
It is very fun.
Good. It works very good. I was kind of worried too many people. Maybe it wouldn't work that great, but it seems to be working fine.
It's working great.
Except for my little internet experience when the power went out for like about 5 minutes, and I'm glad it went out when it did, because right when it went out and I saw you guys were still talking, I thought I was still live for a second, but then I noticed the buffering, and I was like, "What the actual is going
You said
on
you saw
here?"
a shadow and then you disappeared, man.
Yeah, I was like, "What's going on?"
We're like, where is Mike? Did the shadow thing
Like,
get him?
Mike,
What happened?
I debunked what that was. Actually, it was this light going off the mirror right here that I have, hitting my
Oh, yeah.
stick and then ricocheting off my glasses frames. I was like, "What the heck is going on here?"
Right? Jamie says, did you get 6 people up there? Actually, we got up to 11. 11 people. But hey, this is like the 4th stream that I've ever done here, and we're kind of lit here at the moment, so it's kind of understandable. Not everybody's into that. I get it. But we're just trying something
More
different.
than one, we're good. It wouldn't matter. I'd still be
I was
talking
just
about the
looking
same
at
crazy shit.
this.
Right?
Yeah, I'm done. Mine's gone. I'm sad.
I saved this for tonight because I knew if I didn't, I'd have to have vodka and fruit punch Gatorade, and then I'd be kind of just like wearing off like towards the questions if there weren't questions.
Friday, you win this one. Next time I'm bringing 12 beers.
I started out here. We're down to here. And actually, I could get out there right now, and if I wanted to, you want to talk about black holes? I love black holes. We can talk about physics if you want
That
to.
sounds fun.
Yes.
I'm down for anything, man.
I like black holes. You ever heard of Mel's hole?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Actually,
I actually read about that. And I was thinking about doing a story on it eventually.
I watched it on the Y-Files, which some people love him, some people hate him. AJ, I would love to meet the guy.
Yeah,
he's
got
got
some great channel.
The little fish from the Blind Files. I don't know if you guys watch South Park, but you remember Kyle Broflovski's other cousin Kyle,
Yeah,
the little redheaded Jew guy. The fish reminds me of that guy's voice for some reason. I do not know why, but it's like a dead
I
ringer
think it's the
for it.
same dude. Yeah. That's actually Mel's Hole has a pretty good joke. So two guys standing next to a bottomless pit. They're standing there talking about it, throwing beer cans down in it. They see a goat running through the woods, and this goat jumps down the hole, and they go, "What the hell?" And a farmer comes running over and goes, "Hey, you guys see, a goat?" And these two guys are like, "Well, we kicked some stuff in the hole. We kicked a stump down there. We kicked some other stuff in the hole, and then this goat came running through the woods and fell in this hole, and just jumped right in." And he goes, "That was my goat. He was tied to an old stump." And the two guys go, "Shit, we pushed that stump in that hole, didn't we?" "Oh, shit, that's why the goat ran in the..." Oops.
Lose your goat to a bottomless
I was
pit.
really belly laughing right there, man. I had to mute it for a second. I started snorting.
Oh. Yeah, you guys continue for just a minute. I gotta make a run.
So, Mike, what's your
Yeah, what's up?
what's your favorite one from UFOs or Inner Earth or let's say fucking mermaids? What's your favorite one?
Ooh, man. It has to be a tie between mermaids and I know that sounds kind of weird, but there's actually a story about mermaids in Mississippi. And there's a place in Pascagoula called the Singing River, and I actually did a short on it, like in season 1 of Mysteries Untold. And the legend was that a lot of people that were doing the river boat tours, and like the guys that were going down the river transporting all the goods and stuff, actually reported hearing the sirens, like song being chanted and stuff. So, and
That
no one knew where it was coming.
I think that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I actually have to say that the mermaids is like one of my favorites, other than like the UFOs and stuff, because I want to believe, but like I said, mainly because I've seen something.
It's a tricky subject with cryptid type creatures. A lot of people don't believe in that type of stuff, but I mean, weirder shit has happened in the world. I'm still on the fence about Bigfoot, but I do believe there's something out there that we don't understand. Maybe it is like Wild Man or something. Then talking mermaids is Virginia is covered in mermaids. Old history of pirates and mermaids and what they used to call silkies, or it would be the same thing as skinwalkers, but for seals, and they are actually women, but they can look like seals, and they would lure men off the old pirate ships with their siren song. Those legends are insane. I love those ones.
Yeah, when I did that story on it, I was going all the way back to the 1800s, and I realized that the first story was like pretty much based somewhere over in Egypt, like before Christ times, like on mermaid sightings and stuff. So there has to be something to that. If
I
it was
just
like
learned
pretty much
something.
sighted before Christ.
So one of the legends in Fort Monroe is the moat monster, and there was mermaids told about the guys that would go out on the boat way back then, like 1700s, 1800s. And one of the generals at Fort Monroe talks about the meat monster or the pink moat monster that would swim through the moat. One night I was going to do a live investigation and I heard a bunch of splashing in the water. I'm sure it's probably just fish or maybe a seal was in there or something. But on the other hand, that for somebody in the 1800s to report seeing a monster swimming through the moat, he said it was 25 feet long. And this was a general back in the military reporting that at a fort, not some random guy. So a lot of people take the word of military people, jet fighter people for the UFO stuff. But you got to listen to some people when they say they've seen something odd and not always just toss it out the window because you think it's a crock or it's crazy. I mean, once again, the pirates with the giant squid attacking their ships, that really probably happened. So sea monsters.
And to this day, I've always thought that Tennessee would always be too far inland for like alligators and stuff, but
No.
in the county beside where I'm from, which is, well, actually it's in my county instead of beside the county, but it's in the next city from where I'm from. There's a little river between here and there, and there's been alligator sightings, like even as far inland as where I'm at right now. So they're like migrating further inland. So you never know what's
Very
out
possible. I gotta say that's wicked possible because actually Jaws, that movie Jaws, is based off of a New Jersey story up a freshwater river. So this is freshwater. It was probably a bull shark because bull sharks can swim in fresh water. But three little boys all got eaten by a shark up a freshwater river. And the movie Jaws was actually based off of part of that. And then this guy right here talks about the island of Tinian and the USS Indianapolis sinking and all those men getting eaten by sharks. My grandfather during World War II flew a B-29, and he was stationed on the island of Tinian, and he was supposed to go on the boat, the USS Indianapolis, but he got bit by a tarantula and didn't go on the boat because he had to stay at the med tents. So I'm very thankful that he did not go on that boat, and that boat got sunk by a Japanese torpedo. And a lot of men went in the water, and a lot of men didn't come out.
And we had no Sir Spook Fest. That would have sucked. Oh, I see Friday.
Friday is back. What's your, you doing more music, Michael?
I do mainly instrumental music because I feel like that's easier to do than like actually writing stuff. Because it also is more soothing and everything.
Yeah.
But I am also doing ghost stories. I'm just now starting season 2 of Mysteries Untold, and I've actually had time to finally write a top 5 places that may give you goosebumps when you go to Louisiana. And none of them are very big named places. If I wanted to, I can write about the big name places and probably make a viral video for clicks and views, but I choose to like go the lesser known area.
The smaller legends are even more interesting sometimes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the South and stuff, like, and everywhere these days. So, welcome back, Friday.
Thank you. Yeah, I was talking to Moon and Mystic and everybody else in the house. They're noticing that I'm a little tipsy at the moment.
Yeah, drink some more water. Did you have a piece of bread?
Not yet, but I will.
Water is actually a good idea. I'm like down to this much. Getting low. And I only had one Mike's Hard Lemonade saved for the night. And it was hiding in the crisper the whole time.
Next time I'll grab some more.
Get some rum or vodka or something.
Yeah.
I would do a rum. I like a good pirate rum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of vodka by itself, but I have like fruit punch Gatorade like made up because when I'm outside working and stuff, I get overheated. I need the electric lights or whatever they're called, and I used vodka the other day because I had nothing else, and I thought we were going to go live that night. Like when me and Count were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to come on, but I had to go pick up my kids.
Yeah, I was like, and then I realized I had nothing else to drink because I couldn't find this little son of a gun, which was hidden in in the crisper because I forgot I put it in the crisper because we're in the spot in the refrigerator. And so I was like, there is vodka in the freezer, and I have fruit punch Gatorade, and I put it in there. I tried it. I was like, huh, that ain't that bad.
Let's see. Matt says he's installing a hard drive. Oh, so Matt had some hardware issues with his computer.
That's all right.
That explains it.
Tell him not to feel bad. I had internet issues over here.
Tell them I want to be friends on Discord. I don't know how.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna go off cam for a sec.
Okay.
Mike's going pee. You're still on cam. Friday. We gonna if I ever get out to Texas, we gotta do some spots out there. What's your local haunt?
We got a couple cemeteries out here. My main focus is the Bragg Road, the Ghost Road of East Texas. I want to get a sorry, I'm a little buzzed at the moment. A spectrogram of the light. I want to see exactly what this light is, because I have seen the light. And most of the time, whenever you're on this road, you're looking down the road, you're seeing a car headlight, because it is a 8-mile straight run. I mean, it's if you were to fire a bullet, right? If you fired a bullet down this road, you would hit nothing. It is straight. Most straight road you're ever going to see for 8 miles. But so you're going to see car headlights at the other end, and it's going to look like the light. But the light wasn't actually seen until 1930 when they took the railroad track up and converted it to a county road.
Okay.
Right. So they seen it right after that happened, but headlights then really weren't that bright. So I'm not sure what they're doing. But I have actually seen this light appear and then raise above the road into the trees. Car headlights don't do that. So there's something going on down here. There's something.
So that's a UFO sighting, I would say. You probably saw an orb. There's a legend of the brown mountain lights, and that's very similar. People have tried to disprove it, tried to prove it, and it's not that it's just in one spot. They'll show up in different areas, even in the trees in the mountains. So they can't prove it, but they think it's highway lights way off in the distance or airplane lights, but it still can't be proven. So that reminds me of brown mountain lights. I always wanted to go to that one. I would love to investigate what is it, Bray Road?
Bragg. Bragg.
Yeah. Let me look.
Yeah, Bragg Road, Saratoga is the main city they call it a city. Main town that's still intact.
Yeah.
Texas is too big. Fort Worth. I'll look at it after.
So Laura and Jeff are talking about something. Spent the day at the ER waiting room. Is everything okay? Laura, Jeff, everything okay there? Sounds a little concerning.
I hope so.
Hope you're all right.
Me too.
Absolutely.
This is why you drink and stay home.
No, if I even have like a sip, I don't get in the vehicle. I ain't doing that.
No. Well, last time
I don't even really drink much, but once you guys said that, I was like,
go ahead, Mike.
oh, I'm sorry. I was like, I don't even really drink much, but once I said it, I was like, I gotta get something for this. So
Yeah.
I did. So
I don't have shit left. No, I'm sad.
I'm being smart. I'm being smart. I'm drinking, but I'm drinking this, but since it's already down to like this level and I only had one, I'm like sitting there and swishing it, so I'm like savoring like the taste.
I should have saved my beers from last time.
Let's see. Jeff says family member had a rough day, still testing. Jeff, definitely we send our prayers and good vibes your way.
Yes, we
Hope
do, Jeff.
everything is okay. Hope everything comes out okay. So
I'm gonna stay, buddy.
definitely, Jeff.
100.
We're behind you.
Yep.
So when I do this next investigation, I think I'm gonna go live the first one when I get up there, but maybe I should do it a little earlier than normal so everybody can watch.
That'd be awesome.
So, like 3 or 4 o'clock, and then wait and do a 3-hour, 4-hour investigation, so that it starts to get dark and at least an hour of investigation in the dark. Sometimes I think I go live a little too late for some people, but maybe some earlier investigations.
Well, let us know. We will definitely check it out.
You'll all be there, bro.
Yeah, I know. Mike, you're always there. Thank you so much.
No worries, man.
I try.
It is hard to keep up. I try and put stuff on watch later to make sure I watch everything. I'm watching like 20 YouTube videos a day or more, and I still can't keep up.
It's hard to keep up. I actually had to go through my watch later, and there was almost 300 things I put there that by this point are irrelevant.
Yeah, just way past like 6-7 months ago, even more. I have to go through it and cancel some stuff. I think I got like 300 too in my watch later.
Right.
I don't even know how many things I have in my watch later. I don't even think I have a watch later. I just kind of proofread as I go and watch like 98% of the video and then comment.
Right.
I'll only leave a comment if it's worthy. I don't leave too many comments around.
Yeah. I only leave comments on channels that I really care about and stuff like you guys' Jeff's, Steve's, and all the others that I watch. I'm always going to comment.
I've commented a few to like Casper's site, and there's a few other people. One of the guys I watch is That's Impossible channel, and I've tried to talk to him, but he probably gets 10,000 comments, so I don't think you would ever see mine anyway. But it would be cool to get on one of those kind of channels where they're just talking about weird videos. I mean, I do have a couple weird videos. Out of all mine, I only have like 3 probably that would be worthy. The rest, like even I thought I've caught a UFO, and I even looked up rocket launches in my area. Some people said it was SpaceX, but I wouldn't be able to see the SpaceX. It wasn't the same path over. It wouldn't be right over my house. So I did. It was 2 years ago now, but I caught something flying right out in front of my house, and then it just disappeared. It did kind of look like a rocket launch. I can understand why people say that, but I don't know. From the reports I read from the naval base right over here, No rocket launches that day.
Right.
I couldn't explain it. It was weird. I filmed it and I was like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't see anything about SpaceX or NASA launching anything. So I have the time stamp and everything. So looking at what time it was 9:30 at night. No launches due to be passing in my area. So then I'm like, all right, well then that's something fucking weird. It's a UFO, unidentified, whatever.
Either, so.
I've seen some of the drones. The New Jersey drone stuff was around here, over Langley, the Norfolk military base, which is next to my house.
Mm-hmm.
For 17 days, there was 100 reports or something. For 17 days, they were hanging around all of the different military bases. Friday, you did a whole pint of fucking 190 proof.
I just did a whole big boy. It's not even halfway done. I'm still sipping.
Cheers if I had any left.
Warm AF.
And I could still take you on as far as physics.
Yeah, you're gonna get into black hole physics, and then I said Mel's hole.
Hello, just said I'm writing a book called.
Come to think about it,
right? I'm writing a book called "How to Ghost Hunt and Be Home by 10."
I buy it, Jeff. I bought Kenny's first book.
I get that, but that's for people like us that have a gray beard. Because everybody else is going to be out much later than 10.
Yeah. I got a little bit of gray. You can't really see it much now since I shaved, but there's a very little bit in there.
You're getting there. You got the knowledge if you got a bit of the gray.
I've studied so many things that are just useless knowledge. Like, you heard the term rat think?
Rat think?
Yeah, think means to regurgitate, to throw up. Well,
yeah.
You mean like purge, kind of?
Kind of. But rat, they can't throw up. That's why rat poison has to be such a specific formula, because they're very careful about what they eat. So rat fink is an impossible term. Rats can't throw up. So rat vomit is not a thing.
Gotcha.
That's really cool.
That's the kind of shit I think about. That's the kind of stuff I learn.
I like your random posts about words and stuff.
I've heard in a while. I love it.
And you guys are great. You're awesome.
You're awesome, man. So talking about weird things you think about, I learned that their hummingbird's heartbeat beats 100 times every time your heartbeat beats, or something like that, and they're the only bird that can fly backwards and forward.
That's
something else about sharks, that sharks can't swim backwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I have seen go backwards.
The six-gilled shark under the ice up in the Atlantic is a six-gilled shark that they think maybe it can swim backwards. So like things that break the laws of physics and science all the time. I think you were going to talk black holes. I think you heard about they froze light into a crystalline form, and at the same time it's a super liquid. That breaks physics to me. It breaks everything to me. My brain can't compute it. That means we can have lightsabers, right?
Lightsaber is actually possible depending upon what the lightsaber actually was. They never actually said what it was. So it was plasma? Absolutely. But you could screw somebody's day up by just throwing a magnet at them, because the plasma that would be hot enough to do that is actually contained by a magnetic field.
So it'd be a
like that old saying.
Yeah.
It's like that old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It just depends on how hard you throw it at somebody.
Exactly. I've never had any doctors coming at me, so that's not a problem here. I'd like to have one come find out what's going on with my nerves and everything. Okay.
You need a chiropractor. That's a good thing. You crack your back. Got to do that one.
Yeah, I've actually been to a couple of chiropractors. They do good for me anyway.
I need to get my back right.
It's a real possibility, and I haven't been to a doctor yet. I have not had the test done, but there's a real possibility that I might have
acupuncture might actually help with you though, Friday.
What's up?
I said acupuncture might actually help better for you though, like especially if it's your nerves, because they can go in like a little bit of needles and like do the little pressure points and stuff and release some of the nerve like pain.
My dad had acupuncture for his shoulder. He said it worked.
I'd be open to it.
It can help. My dad said it worked. He fell off a ladder and broke his arm in 3 places.
Ouch.
So he got like a metal plate in his arm and everything, and they did acupuncture, and he said it helped his arm.
See, Waterhorse says sharks use ramjet ventilation to breathe. They have to move forward so their gills absorb the oxygen from the water.
Yep.
Well, then they would have no need to go in reverse.
Yeah, going backwards would probably be bad. But
Right.
I don't know. There's some weird things also being found lately. I think last year we found 150 new species next to some volcanic vents near New Zealand.
We found a lot of weird things around the vents.
Yeah.
I should have got more
The
beer.
bottom of the sea and stuff like that and the vents and stuff are very interesting. You can always go off cam and get you one if you have one in the fridge.
I don't think I do.
Right. Jeff says, "Got to go, guys. Got some stuff I still have to do. Have fun and avoid sobriety." Ain't no problem here, Jeff. Thank you very much for showing up. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. It really does. Jeff is a good guy.
He
Yeah,
is.
just cool.
He and I are in the midst of a sticker and crystal trade. So he's going to trade me some stickers, and I'm going to trade him some of the crystals. I sent Ryan from a graveyard. So
Yeah, I got your sticker. I need to get more of my own stickers. Yeah, I got the
I'm throwing
microphone.
one of my Spruce Untold channel stickers for him as well. Friday actually designed the logo for me, so I give credit to him for helping me get it. So
Sweet sticker.
All good. That actually took me like 10 minutes to do all that. It was
that's really awesome. And even got a compliment from Crow. So Crow, he's like, that logo is nice.
Crow is good. I haven't had a chance to really talk to Crow a whole lot. From what I gather, Crow. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not buzzing anymore. I'm drunk. Crow. Crow seems to be really cool.
Yeah, Crow's wicked cool. I've done some
Crow's
of his trivia for like horror movie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
He's actually a friend of mine, a member of my Discord. So because he was like actually one of my first members, other than Ryan, that showed up. I was like trying to pass the mayo down for Crow.
I think I've been watching Crow for like 2 years or more now. Good guy.
Matt's having a whole lot of trouble.
He's actually going to use the Blah song that I PM'd him in Discord when I was doing lyrics. He says, I'm actually going to use that very soon in a video. I'm like, yes!
That's awesome. Hey, it's a Matt. What's up, dude?
Matt has actually arrived here. He's not on camera, but he is on audio. Hello, Matt.
I'm not on camera at the moment because there are things in this world that I can't reveal to you guys. Otherwise, the whole
Oh no!
hunt for paranormal activity is over. You know what I mean?
But is it really paranormal activity, Matt?
Oh, it's real paranormal.
Computer activity.
Very paranormal. It's not normal. That's for sure.
Well, Matt, I am absolutely, I'm not going to say any more than I'm buzzed. I am absolutely drunk. I'm working on my third glass of Everclear and orange soda. So,
He's drinking the good stuff.
Well, I came in at the right time.
I just had the big fella, the Mike Hart lemonade. That was smart.
I
I'm
had my
tapering
4
my
beers.
sobriety. I am definitely working on my own sobriety.
but Jeff from
It's like 2 for 1, I think, pretty much the can size.
right, Jeff from Brew Production said to avoid the sobriety. So you're doing good. You're doing great.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Yeah, we don't need sobriety. Sobriety doesn't need to be had.
Right. Now we can see Matt.
Very overrated.
There is Mr.
Up, buddy?
Matthew.
Hey, Matt.
This
Pick
I
up
in
his
the
exist
world
now.
today.
You're only
Good to see
2
you
hours
again,
and 30
Mike.
minutes late. That's not a problem. I'm messing with you.
I've been later than that to more important jobs. Okay.
Don't feel bad, Matt. For like about 5 minutes of the stream, my internet went out due to the weather, and once I realized they couldn't hear me, I started cussing the whole entire freaking words that I could say right off the top of the bat in order to try and get it to work again. And then it finally worked again after about 15 minutes.
All good, man. That was funny, though. Yeah, Shadow. All of you gone.
Had this real bad accident on the highway. I was headed into work, and I told my boss that I was going to be a little late. And fast forward about 48 minutes, I finally make the 10-minute trip to work. So I pull into the parking lot, and I walk in, and I'm like, "Hey, boss, I'm here." And he's like, "You're only an hour late." And I'm like, "No, I'm 45 minutes late, which is 15 minutes early for me." Yeah, my boss
I
had a
said
great
it earlier.
man.
I have to say, you described the shadow cat perfectly, Matt. That's how me and my wife and my mother-in-law have said I've seen a shadow cat before.
I still see it even here in this apartment that has no ties to anything that could have happened to bring this cat into my life. I still see this shadow cat.
So it's
It
tied
runs
to
up
you.
and down the stairs.
Could
Actually,
it
So I
be
moved from Massachusetts to Virginia, and it followed us here.
I recently fell down the stairs. I'm not proud to admit it. I had my house slippers on, and they are slippers. They slip. And so, but I saw that little fucker when I was going down. I'm sorry. I may have used language I shouldn't have used. I saw him
No,
when I was going down the stairs.
so bad? I said a before.
No, I think I've sworn a few times now.
I was like, I'm not sure what the limit is to swear words, but look, I didn't say what you think I just said. I said Frogger. I saw that little Frogger.
Oh,
In case any of the viewers may not have gotten their ears checked recently, don't go back to listen to it. Do not go back to listen to it. Just take my word for it. I said Frogger.
If Raven was in here, she'd be flipping everything that we're saying here.
We haven't even started really talking crazy yet. What are you talking? Lizard people.
Got another 30 minutes.
what I was going to ask about the shadow cat, were you guys like the only person to live in either yours or Ryan's houses? Or could the previous owner had a pet cat that passed away there, maybe.
Well, so the second place I lived that I noticed this cat didn't have a previous owner because it was land that was just bought. It was just woods when it was purchased. So, I mean, if it had, I'm not going to say that nobody was ever there, for obvious reasons in all of history, but
Yeah.
there was no previous owner. So, I don't know if I mean, this thing is definitely just attached to me and probably attached to you too. It's one of those protector types.
It might be my
Maybe
wife,
some ghost
but
spirit animal or something.
What was it?
so three houses for me. I was in Middleborough up in Massachusetts. Then we moved to my sister's house in Taunton, and we saw it at both places. And then here in Virginia 2 years ago, and I would say 2 months ago, I saw a shadow cat. Maybe 2 or 3 months ago, my wife saw a shadow cat down in this house in Virginia. We just can't explain it. It's kind of just jumped around from house to house. It's just been around. I owned a cat. He ran off in the woods one day after like 6 years of owning him. I found him and he was a wild cat anyway. He was an outdoor cat. So one day he just never came back. But no reason for what me and my wife and my mother-in-law have seen. We still can't explain it. It just looks like he explained, Matt. It's a blur. It's looks like it's glitching, and it's kind of the one I've seen is the size of like it looks kind of like a cat, and the way it moves definitely reminded me of a cat in a weird way. It's hard to explain, but I've probably seen it 5, 6 times. My wife's seen it 5 or 6 times. I'm not sure how many times my mother-in-law, but at least a few.
So it's
Yeah,
definitely
and I feel like
attached to the family.
yeah.
But yeah, this is
I hate being the only person not being able to see a full-blown apparition in here. I feel like I'm left out. I'm like, Urgh. I'm kind of jealous of the fact that everybody has seen something, and I've only like heard or like seen something open.
I grew
It's
up
important
in
you hear it.
I grew up in a house in Texas City, and I don't know if how much you guys know about Texas City, but there was historically there was something known as the Texas City disaster, which was where basically the oil plants, the chemical plants there was okay. So the long story, there was a ship that was coming in. They ported. There was a fire on the ship, and they didn't know how to handle that fire. So that ship exploded. When that ship exploded, fire spread to the various different modules in the processing plant and then a few other ships. And so naturally, there were more explosions, more fire, which led to more explosions and more fire. And
Not good.
there were so many people that didn't get found after the disaster. And I mean, there was actually, it got so bad to the point where they couldn't even ship bodies out anymore. They didn't have room to bury them, didn't have anywhere to throw them out to. So they piled them all up in one area and burned them. Literally piled.
I've seen that pile. It's a huge mound.
They built a high school right on top of where they burned all those bodies. That high school has since it's been shut down since then. But of course, all the rumors of hauntings, I've gone in there before. There's something going on in there. That's for sure. That high school is now gone. They demolished that one.
That makes sense.
They have another one they use now. But I don't know what that property is used for today. But the entire city is nothing but ghosts. And I lived at exactly 1208 Abbott Drive, Texas City, Texas.
Oh, damn.
This house was the definition of haunted. If you could imagine the spirit.
That'd be great for me. I, I would love to hang out there for a little while.
It wasn't.
I would
It
love to
wasn't your
just sit there and like
ordinary.
write and just like see what I experience. That'd be so awesome.
Oh, you'll experience a lot. I mean, it wasn't your ordinary house where a bunch of people died, so it's haunted. It wasn't just that, because
It's the land.
as history unfolds after the disaster, then we start to see people that are coming in to do seances, satanic rituals, things like that. And so fast forward to when, and this isn't just my house, there's a whole lot of houses in the area that this happened to. But fast forward when I moved in, and yeah, there's some stuff. There's a lot of
It reminds me of Bridgewater Triangle.
There's a lot of stuff that went on in that house, like crazy stuff. I think that, I don't know who lives there now. Somebody bought it and started renting the house out. So I don't know. But when I was living there, there was some stuff.
Well, I believe you. I had weird stuff happen at both my house and my grandparents' house. What you missed out earlier was, I can't remember if it was Rachel or somebody else in the chat saying about hearing a name. I think that might have been Thorn that was talking about that. But my family was at work and I was the only one here. And I actually heard something that sounded very similar to my mother's voice yelling my name, Michael, from the bedroom, and no one else was here and none of the TVs were on. And I don't live in the city, so it's not like an echo from like the loft. I live out in the middle of the woods in the boonies pretty much. And I talked to Beardo about this, and he says that he seems to think that I might have something here just by where I live.
It seems to be the land, like, so Bridgewater Triangle, the old legend of the battles and the wars going on. A lot of tragedies happened. I can't talk. But when there's traumatic stuff in an area, it seems that those areas get a little more activity usually. So that's in a lot of towns where a huge traumatic event might have happened. So that would be like the wars from Native Americans to the Pilgrims, or back then those wars up in Massachusetts were some of the worst. A lot of deaths for no reason. And the Wampanoag had a legend that they cursed the land and stuff. And the paranormal stuff. The swamp is actually Hockomock Swamp, and that means the place where spirits dwell. And throughout experience living up there my whole life, I've had a lot of experiences. And I like what he's talking about in Texas seems like where a lot of tragedy happened, and all of a sudden you have a hot spot, or like what you could call a triangle.
Sort of like a portal.
Yeah.
So I saw this is a crazy story. I was a small child. Okay, I was a wee little lad, if you will, and and I was playing my game on my PlayStation, and something funny happened. Because those old games, they're glitchy. Funny things happen sometimes. Something funny happened. I wanted to go tell my sisters about it, so got up out of the room and I went to go knock on their bedroom door. And I heard them in there, but they went quiet when I knocked. So I was like, oh, I was a little brat back then. I was like, yeah, you think you guys are going to pull one over on me? I got you. So I just opened the door and walked in, disrespectfully, and nobody was in the room. And so I was like, what? And then like I heard their voices from in the backyard, which was like directly behind their bedroom. And I was thinking, okay, they're out there on the swing or whatever, I'm gonna go get them. So I went through the house, I went out the back door, and I went around the corner, and the swings were swinging, but they were slowing down. It looked like whoever was on them had just jumped off of them. So I was like, all right, maybe I missed them. Maybe they came in. So I went to go back in. We have this section, so you have like the back door here, and then the backyard is over here where I was. So I go over here on the other side of the back door is like this little section where there's like this chain link kind of fence, and there's whole huge like dark area, and then there's this giant wooden gate that my dad put there for whatever reason. So I can't see into that darkness, but I can hear whispering from out of that darkness, and it sounds like, you know, my sister whispering to me, and they're like telling me,
Do you remember how to mimic?
huh?
Or doppelganger or mimic? Doppelgangers and mimics are freaky, man.
It got a little crazy. So I mean, I opened the gate, the chain link gate, and I walked through, and I went into this little dark area. And if you just like take your hand like this and just like grab some of your clothing and just do that, you know,
Yeah.
that's like, I felt that all over me, all of my clothes, just all over me. And the whispering was here. Even
So you
though
would've-
when my eyes adjusted to the darkness, nobody was there. The whispering was still right here. And they were just all over on my clothes. So that freaked me out. So I took off into the house.
Shot your pants and ran?
Just about.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little kid, so I had no idea what was going on. So I was crying and stuff. You know, my mom's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you just stayed up too late past your bedtime, and you're seeing things." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm seeing things. I'm seeing freaking ghosts, dude.
I'm seeing
There is
something.
a demon in this house. We need to do something about this."
Right.
That's crazy,
Oh,
man.
Mike.
We lost him. Where'd he go?
He was jumping around there for a minute.
Yeah, we got a little less than 20 minutes to go. This is the longest I've gone by far. We've almost gone 3 hours.
I love it. You're doing great. I think this was the best one so far. We'll definitely do this again. I do have to go pee, but I'll be right back.
I'm
Okay, go ahead.
At
I'll
like
be
the
right
last
back.
30 minutes.
Yeah, sorry you're having trouble, Matt. We were all thinking about you.
Yeah, I woke up and I checked because I took a nap. That's what happened. I was exhausted, you know. I haven't been able to sleep for like the past 4 days, so I was like, screw it. I've got a little bit of time. I'm going to try and take a nap.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
slept for a couple hours. I woke up and I checked my phone, and I'm like, oh, well, they're probably not even in there anymore. Let me just text them and find out.
Right. How about freaking 3
Sorry about
sheets to the
that, my
wind right now?
internet.
Hey, he's back.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Apologies on my internet, guys.
Yeah, you're having a lot of
Ran out
storms
of
out there,
gas,
aren't
so-
you?
Yeah, it's supposed to get pretty severe later tonight. It's been off and on. Earlier, when I first came on the stream, when Ryan and Friday first showed up, I started looking and I thought I saw like a shadow or something, but it was like the projector light right here playing tricks with my eyes. And then the power went out, and I kept on hearing Friday and Ryan talking, but then I realized I was buffering, and I realized I could get away with swearing because I was like, son of a, because of all the power just went off, and I didn't have internet for a minute, so I was like saying every word I could for like 10 minutes in order to just try and get it back on.
Right. The water horse says that's another question I have about emotions. Most hauntings occur around tragedy. What power do those last emotions have of people who die in tragic ways? That's tangible. We wish we had the answer to that, water horse. We really do, because that's a really, 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 really good question. And because that question is so good, it probably got something to it. Whatever that answer is going to be, that's probably going to be a really important answer.
That would
That's kind of
answer
why I
the
look into
paranormal.
I would want to
That's
think.
kind of why I
would
look
wanna
into
think
the-
Probably, yeah.
That's why I kind of look into the history of stuff instead of the scientific side, so where I can understand more about the location and find out what's going on. like with the haunted history of it, pretty much before saying, "Oh, it's could be like paranormal or something." But I
Well, and I
believe that
mean,
everything has like emotions and energy, and could possibly consider residual energy, like in afterlife.
Yeah, this would be
That makes sense.
psychokinetic energy, maybe.
you've seen
There is-
like the hauntings where it was a person who had committed suicide, right?
Mhm.
Those hauntings, those spirits always seem to have a decent amount of power. They're able to move objects. They're able to open and shut cabinets, doors. You know, they're able to emanate sounds, things like that. So, I mean, if these spirits have the amount of power to do that regularly, and these are suicide spirits, right? These are spirits that when they were mortal alive, they had killed themselves. So you got to think
Be
about
careful
what
with how
goes
you say that,
into-
Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know how YouTube is about that stuff.
but anyway, you're talking about tragedy. That's about as tragic as it gets. So, these spirits would have probably the most energy theoretically out of all of them. And we see that a lot in hauntings with spirits that have opted out, so to speak.
I think you could
pretty
see
common.
tragic events like spirits too, where it's a battlefield. So I've gone to Yorktown and I've gone to other battlefields and just checked them out. I think that's possible too. You could have historic spiritual activity going on because of battle from back in the day. Certain spots around the whole country, around the whole world, where there's some battles and crazy things happening. A lot of times, certain areas, like you were talking about, Matt, with that disaster, that reminds me a lot of how many people passed away up in Mass during the war, and then the Wampanoags would talk about how they've seen spirits out in the swamp, and different cultures have different theories on all of this, but it's all like boils down to the same thing: something paranormal, something spiritual does exist.
Yeah, there's definitely an emotional connection. I think at some point, I don't know if I don't know like how much effect it has, but there's definitely some connection there.
Yeah, because like even like there's always the haunted ship or the haunted mansion, or even sometimes there may be a haunted car. There was an old nice car that I can't remember his name right now, but everybody that owned that car ended up passing away in a crazy way, and that guy crashed the car. I forget who it was, James Dean, or I forget who it was, but some stuff like that, when something happens in a super tragic way, I think can possibly get an attachment to a spirit of in sort of way. I don't really think dolls can be haunted, but certain places and land definitely.
I don't think that anything that is considered haunted. Okay, let me back up a
Is
little bit.
haunted.
Most people think that the spirit is bound to that object or location. That I do not agree with. Now, whether or not they choose that spot, that's a whole other
Right.
matter.
Yeah.
Because
I
intelligent
think a
haunted
spirit
could probably go
was gonna
anywhere.
run once you know if it was actually there anyway. So
Yeah. Yep. Oh.
Well, fellas, how you feeling Friday? You had what, 3?
I am.
I had to
Mine's
break
taking
down
more.
my whole beer.
I should have bought another whole beer. I didn't bring enough beer.
I ran out of the mics.
I've had about 2.5, and I'm gonna stop right here.
3 seats full in. Well, I really had fun. I'm probably going to take off and go eat some food. Can we do this again soon?
Absolutely.
Yes, I
I will
really
get
hope
with
we
you
can.
guys in Discord.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I may try and do this on my channel too eventually.
Okay.
With all four of us.
We could do. I would be happy to join you on your channel. Yeah.
We can all switch. Yeah, we'll just go from yours to Mike to mine, and we'll all switch. We can do this whenever we want, you know?
Yeah. Matt, you're good with all
Sounds
that?
good.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I might even, if y'all want to come on for an episode of, Humanity is Dead, that would be pretty dope.
Good.
Yeah, and me
You
and
can
Matt
also
were
come
talking.
on Whispers from the Past if you want to, which is my thing that I'm doing on live eventually.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, Matt might may or may not. We haven't figured it out yet, but he may or may not be coming to stay with me. He's not very far from me, like less than an hour's drive. So he may or may not be hanging out with me. If we do a hunt or something, we'll definitely record all that. But guys, I really appreciate y'all coming on. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me and bearing with me despite the weather conditions and the internet outages, man.
Hey,
it's all
Those
good.
ghosts in the machine.
Right? So you guys are awesome. Everybody that joined in the chat, thank you so much. I can't thank y'all enough for joining. And again, just bear with me because I've had so much to drink. I had the hard stuff here.
I did not.
I sipped mine yesterday, so I was kind of cheating.
Right, Matt. Sorry you had so much trouble with your computer and everything coming on.
I still didn't get the hard drive working. I don't even know. It's plugged in and everything. It's just not running right now. I'm not sure what happened.
It happens.
Yeah, next one.
But anyway, everybody, have a great night. Thank y'all for coming on. We will let everybody know. We'll post all the links whenever we go. I guess we'll go on Michael's stream, then Ryan's, then Matt's, and we will see you all again. Maybe not quite as inebriated.
Much out. I'm bringing it at least twice as much beer next time.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do pre-recording for that.
You guys are great. We'll talk about some more stuff.
Thank
you all.
Later,
You all
guys.
have a great night.
Later, y'all.
Bye, guys.